Hey, what's happening, guys? Dave Brown here with JamPlay.com, and it is week 8 of playing them changes. Hopefully you guys had a nice week off observing Thanksgiving there for our American fellow guitar players. So hopefully you had a jolly good time eating all the stuffing and gravy and all that stuff. We're back thinking in terms of minor this week. Last time we did 1 chord to 2 chord, which is one of my favorite progressions. It's really cool to just vamp on 1 chord with that kind of thing going over a 1 chord. I'll go off on a tangent. I'm gonna keep it on track today. So we're doing minor 1 to minor 4 today. We're calling it that because that's the relationship between the chords. But in order to not, again, go out on a tangent like I'm used to doing, I'm trying to reuse information that you've already practiced. So that same relation of minor 1 chord to a minor 4 chord can be found between the 6 chord and the 2 chord. So that's what we're doing today. Technically, if like we're in the key of D, we're playing the 6 chord and then the 2 chord, but that relationship is still 1 to 4. If you consider, and especially if those are the only 2 chords in the progression, that's what the progression is. You can consider it that, but you can also consider it the home base of the key of D. So again, we're in the key of D, so we're doing B minor to E minor this week. Really cool, fun progression, great great reggae progression in general. You know, you'll find it elsewhere too, but one song that comes to mind is no, it's a Sublime tune. Why can't I think of it? Oh, I should have thought of it ahead of time. Pawn Shop. Wow. Sorry. Pawn Shop is this exact progression, just a little quicker. So if you're looking for a greater challenge, you can do this. Move between the chords a little quicker. I like to give you a little extra space and time to figure it out, you know. So that's what we're doing today. We were focusing on E minor last week, but we focused on B minor the week before, which, and by last week, I mean 2 weeks ago, push that back, which means we've already learned both of these. Easy, right? We get to reuse the information again. So nothing new today, but how we're lining it up and going directly from one option to the next is new. So it's worth practicing. I think before we get started on all the licks, or at least before I go through each position, I think it's good to point out just playing the chord options. You know, most people are comfortable with the major voicings, but these will be, you know, besides the E minor and the A minor shape, these will be good to kind of practice seeing how these voicings line up. And just, I think it'll really help with your confidence in terms of minor. So, if we're going with our lowest option, our 1 chord, quote unquote, minor 1, is B minor. So we got that A minor shape down at the 2nd fret for this right here. So to recap, our pentatonic scale is this position. 1 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 2 4 1 4 1 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 2 4 1 4. And that's going to line up with this 2nd position, C minor shape, I'm sorry, D minor shape for E minor chord. Okay, so that's our 2nd scale that we're going to be transitioning to. And so just take a look at the voicings really quick. For the A minor shape, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like the general bar chord's great. You can break it up into little groups of 3 strings. But the D minor option for the E minor chord, I know that's confusing as heck, but we're going to an E minor chord, we're using a D minor shape, might not be as obvious, but this is a good one right here. It's almost, it is, I mean, it's the same exact pentatonic position as the E major. So it's basically like you can take that voicing right there and put your pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So that's what I recommend for the higher one, and then that for the lower one. So you got your middle finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret. 1st finger is barring the 2nd fret on the 5th and 4th string. Pinky's grabbing that 4th fret on the 3rd string. Okay, and those are resolving back to this. So just thinking, again, I'm not going to go through it because it's not technically an exercise. Maybe we'll spend a little time with it later, but it's always good to line up the pentatonics. There's so much to do with this. It can be overwhelming. But a lot of fun. So we'll try to keep it to a little bit of fun and not too overwhelming. Here's nothing. Here's where we're trying to get to. Here's where you could be. Here's what we're going to try and get to. Okay, so those are the voicings. It's worth taking the time to line them up. Like those bottom 4 strings are great. Quick, easy jam with some friends, minor, good to go all day. This is a very particular voicing. It's nice. It's kind of cool. You can, especially because we're playing an E chord, you can involve that open 6th string there to get the root, but that technically that's over the minor 3rd. So cool. Okay, all right, that's good enough. So we'll go through something to think about. So who remembers our lick? That's it right there. So all it's doing is going right up the scale with the blue note. Up to the flat 7, never really makes it complete. Then you're gonna slide back from that flat blue note, sharp 4, flat 5 into the 4. Land on the flat 3. There's 2 for the same minor shape, so the next one would start on that 3rd string, 4th fret with your middle finger. Sorry, okay, one more time for that one. So you're going to 3rd fret, 5th fret, sliding into the 6th fret, back to the 2nd fret and 5th fret on the 1st string. 6th fret slides into the 5th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret on the 3rd string. That is going to pair nicely with that one for the D minor shape. Starts on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 5th fret, right up the minor 3rd, 4th, sharp 4, flat 5, and 5. There's that flat 7. I mean, this is E minor, so you're pretty comfortable with it if you've ever learned that Wish You Were Here solo right there. So many blues tunes, all those fun stuff, so all right out of that lick. With the lower one, we're going to start on the open 6th string, even though that's not technically part of this position. It's so close. Might as well. 3rd fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, 2nd fret on the 5th string, 5th fret on the 5th string as well. Right back down. Okay. And that one will resolve back to the first one. Again, hopefully you already have these under your fingers, and it's just a question of how rapidly you can find them. Here we go, guys. Who's excited? 1, 2, 3, 4. going, obviously, but that's a good amount of repetitions to kind of get it under your fingers. Again, you might even want to just practice this out of time too, if you need to. I even had trouble grabbing some of the chords sometimes. Did you know that one of the things you're trying to master when practicing is focus? Okay, so if you lack focus, half of the time when you can't play something, if you've played it correctly before, it's because you weren't focusing. I don't know what you were thinking about. I don't even know what I was just thinking about right then. The mind can slip. We are teaching it to stay focused. That's half the battle. G.I. Joe, well, I guess knowing's the other half of the battle for G.I. Joe, so focus is the other 50%. That's it. That's all you need to know. Knowing and focus. It's actually pretty good advice. It's kind of on the fly, but what are you going to do? Guess what, guys? We're done with that position. We're moving on to the next one. We're going to the G minor shape for the B minor chord. Okay, so that first one's right here, starting with the pinky. Next one's up here. That's one of my favorite ones. It's pretty comfortable. For voicings, we got pinky, middle, pinky on the 7th fret of the 6th string, middle on the 5th fret of the 5th string, first finger barring that 4th fret on the 4th and 3rd string, or you can keep that first finger on that 4th fret of the 4th string, pinky can bar the 7th fret on strings 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so that's that voicing. We're going in E minor chord still, all day. So the next shape after D minor is the C minor shape. So that one is this pentatonic position right here, 5 7 5 7 5 7, 4 7 5 8 5 7. And as far as the riffs go, there's one that starts on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Okay, so you got 7 5 7 sliding into the 8th fret, 4 and 8. It's just kidding, 4 and 7 on the 3rd string. 8 slides in the 7 5, and there's that first one. The next one would be up an octave. You got clearly. You have the 5th fret on the 6th string. What? 2nd string? Man, guys, all over the place. 2nd string, 5th fret, first finger. Whole lot of numbers. In root. Okay, so for this one, most of it's in position. This is like, just like both the A minor shape and the E minor shape. So we'll get to it next position. Same concept. Except in order to get that flat 7, we're going to have to jump out of position and grab that 1. So I'm going to recommend sliding from the 5th fret into the 6th fret. Middle finger will grab that 7th fret. Pinky's going to grab that 10th fret, coming back down. So those are where the licks go. As far as the voicings go, for that C minor shape, it's basically the top end of this D minor shape. It is. Middle finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, first finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, ring finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, pinkies if you want. You can always keep it simple like that with those 3, or you can have your pinky on top of the 7th fret of the 1st string. For the lower end of that C minor shape, I'd probably do pinky, middle, and index. Very simple. Honestly, just that. This again, minor, the way the minor third kind of goes back on the neck, it kind of condenses the cage system into more of a quasi 3 shape system. Like this right here, it's not completely true as considering the pentatonic scales, but as far as voicings go, like this one right here, like I've never really done that in real time. I have done this for sure, and even simpler, just that all the time, which is a compromise between the two. It's basically that one position combined. Whereas normally, if you're going major, it's kind of the same concept. You know, I try to pass myself off as an expert, but it doesn't always pan out. You know how it goes. Fake it till you make it, am I right? Let's do it. So those are how the voicings match up, right? You got B minor here, and then you move that exact same shape down, one set of strings. Struggle today, apparently. And then for the higher voicings, you got B minor here, E minor there. Just kidding, we're not gonna play an F sharp 7. We could though. Once you know all of these, you can do whatever you want. Let's play the exercise, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. More time. Cool. I'm gonna tune up just for everybody's sanity's sake. Right quick. It's pretty close. Apparently it was in tune and I threw it up tune. That was dumb. Why would I do that? That's that position right there, lining up the, how you say, G shape with the C shape. All minor, all day. Next position is everybody's favorite. It's go-to. It's going to be real comfortable. Some of the best shapes. So we got E minor shape for the B minor chord. Yeah, that's not correct. I'll take it. And the A minor shape for your E minor chord. Okay, so E minor shape going to the E minor shape. Same exact run for the E minor shape going to the A minor shape, as we just found out, as I kind of mentioned earlier, alluded to. For the higher end, you're going. That one's nice and comfortable. going 9, 7, 9, 10, 7, 10. And then for the top end of the A minor shape, you got 9, 8, 10, 11, 10. I'm sorry, 7, 10. Okay. As far as voicing's going, you know, this one's very straightforward. You don't have to think about it. Don't think twice. It's all right. We can we'll focus on the other ones, but we should just go ahead and play this one because it's pretty intuitive, I would think. Hopefully, at this point, let's have fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea. Yeah, that's weird. Sorry, my guitar was starting to freak out a little bit. We're back. Okay, so that's your E shape going to the A shape if you want to play a minor 1 to 4. All right, just like it would be in major. I'm not going to go off on a tangent, guys. That's not what we're here for. So, but it's good to point out. That's a really good exercise, is, especially if you can, like, one of the apps I really like to use is called ChordBots. Not because there aren't better backing tracks in the world. They're actually pretty cheesy on ChordBot. ChordBot like robot, but chords. I believe it's available for both Apple and Android, but it allows you to plug in very specific chord progressions that you might not be able to find had you been looking for that one particular backing track that does exactly what you want it to do. And so then you can slow it down, you can speed it up, you can add more measures per chord if you need more times. And that's just a really great tool to practice along with. And if you keep it, so something like that, for instance, just an exercise that popped in my head really quick. If you keep it like that, and by like that, I mean with just roots and fifths, like a power chord, because it's the third that determines whether it's major or minor, right? The power chord is still the same. You know, it's not, anyway, root and fifth are still the same between the major and minor. So it's good to kind of see, maybe do this progression as both major and minor, you know, flipping it around, just seeing if you were to want to think like that. the more ways you quiz yourself, the better. This is all scenario syncing in, repetition, redistribution of the same shapes over and over and over again. Anywho, we're going to B minor and E minor again, still, because that's what we're doing. For our next position, we got the D minor shape for our E minor, or for our B minor, I should say. Sorry. Which means we're gonna have to dip deck down into that E minor shape. Okay, and again, we already went over this voicing. It's that guy right there for the lower end, and the higher end one lick would start on the 9th fret of the 4th string, and then we're doing that, you know, basically E shape with a pinky for the D minor shape. That's gonna line up with the G minor shape. Well, I should do it up here first. Okay, so we already went over that. We got the index finger and the pinky barring. So, as far as voicing's going, you can do that. I'm sorry, not D. B minor is gonna go to E minor. So, what? Why am I totally spacing out right now? Yeah, probably because it's not one of my favorite voicings. I do like that. This is nice, the G minor option. So, you know, you might simplify and just go. You know, it's great ways to get creative with voicings. Who thinks I've never done that with a minor, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of hip. It's a very simplified voicing. Sometimes big old chunky things are great if you're just, you know, accompanying yourself singing, but if you're playing in a band and you need to fill a very specific bandwidth of sonic integrity, you know, it's good to pick small voicings like that, and that's kind of cool. I would never think to, honestly, literally have never thought to do that from going B minor to G minor. Of course, why would I go to G minor? Because I've never thought of that, because we're going to E minor. But you get the idea. Okay. Rants and tangents. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? Spacing out. You guys don't need to listen to me mess around all day, but you can see it's got a lot of potential to kind of, you know, get kind of funky with it and get creative with some of the voicings and the strumming, as long as you're holding down the groove. That's the most important part, always, is to hold down that groove. Okay. Do as I say, not as I do, because clearly I drop the groove from time to time. We're all not perfect. Okay? One more position, guys. You've been doing good. You've been hanging in there. Our next position, last position of the day, it's going to start off with a C shape for the B minor chord. Okay? And for our E minor chord, we're in the E minor shape, conveniently enough. Okay, and that's it. That's all we got as far as voicing's going. Again, we got this C minor shape going to our very comfortable E minor shape, so we don't have to overthink that one too much. And then obviously we're going to have what? You guys hate me today. This guitar needs some work, huh? Okay, anyway. So, yeah, we're going from this C minor shape to this E minor shape. And then obviously we're going from this C minor shape to this E minor shape. As we get up into this 12th fret, that's a little scrunched, so I might personally stick to those top couple strings, especially that E minor shape. That's all she wrote. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. we're just messing around, having fun. Cool. So that's the idea of lining all those up. That'll complete it. That's the bare minimum requirement for the week as far as practice goes. Just really seeing how those line up, even just the chord shapes, both of those together, even though the chord shape thing, playing the voices and just playing the changes, although that's not technically one of the exercises, that would be really good to practice. I'd recommend it. And of course there's lining up pentatonics, and just as 1 and 4 line up for major, well, I didn't even think to check. I didn't even think. Yeah, we're going 1 to 4, so the relationship is still the same even though it's minor, so there's only a 1 note difference between B minor and D minor. What? I'm just testing to see if you're paying attention. It's B minor to E minor, and there's only 1 note difference as far as the pentatonic is concerned. So let's line them up just for fun on the top 3 strings real quick. We don't need to do it all crazy, but I just want to kind of point it out because half of the battle, besides seeing the voicings are really good to see. These standardizing the vocabulary in every position and seeing how the lick goes through each position is really good too. But also just seeing how the pentatonics line up is going to be really great for just having fun. And being able to play the changes, because that's why we're here, right? So if you were to improvise with these, again, it's good to start with the top 3 strings. The 1 note difference is F sharp goes to G when going from B minor to E minor. So if we're playing the top 3 strings with this, we got 2 4 3 5 2 5, and then for B minor, I'm sorry, for G minor, it goes to the 3rd fret on the 1st string, aka G. Let's see what it sounds like on those top 3 strings. Add the 4th string, that G's right here. Then it's at the 4th fret. So you can really see how just isolating that 1 note change, F sharp to G, makes you sound like you know what you're doing every single time. Now, it's not to say that that's the only thing to say, but if you can train your hands to know where that sound is and train your ears to know what that sound sounds like, well, then you're on your way, aren't you? I'd like you to get creative and say exactly what's on your mind, and maybe that's not the F sharp going to the G every time, but that's how you outline the changes. And so if you really good players are great at hitting those changes enough where it sounds like they're playing the changes, but also not necessarily just running arpeggios the whole time too, because that's boring. But yeah, so on the next 3 strings we got, next group is the G minor shape. So 4 7 5 7 5 7. And then where's our F sharp? So then it's gonna go 4 7 5 8 5 7. Let's hear it. Always good to throw that chord voicing in too, just to remind you. Keep wanting to bend into the F sharp there, which you can. You can do whatever you want, apparently, because this is free time. So the next position, I'll kind of plow through really quick, and then we'll get to some questions. So we got, and that F sharp's right here, still on the second string, 7th fret, so that's going to go to the G right there. Okay. Yep, and so that one, you know, you can even get 4 strings in with only 1 note change. Okay, let's play a little bit. Nothing too crazy. That note's empty because it's the root. It's really something, if you notice, I'm starting to throw some of those other major notes in there. And by major, I mean major scale notes. Technically, we're in, I don't know if you want to think of it as Aeolian or Dorian. Depends on what you want to think. I guess it would be an Aeolian because we're focusing around B minor. So for instance, if you know, I threw the note we're changing F sharp to G, but the F sharp sounds totally dope over the minor 9. And even that C sharp right there, that sounds great too. That's not even, that wasn't even an option until I just mentioned it, technically. I mean, it was always an option. What we're trying to do is simplify the amount of notes we're working with so that we know exactly, it's easier to keep track of, it's easier to train your ear. Those other notes will eventually, you can start to throw them in the mix, you can start to find them. And you can place them more strategically because you're not landing on them because you know exactly where they are and what they sound like. So you're not like landing on them, I should say, on strong beats. And sometimes you are if you're tasteful, if you know what to do. But by ignoring them, they will physically they'll stick out more like a sore thumb. Again, you want to see the thing, you want to see the neck in tiers, like the triad and then the pentatonic scale and then those colored notes. So it's good to separate those from the pentatonic scales right off the bat. And then sonically, you'll recognize them that much more because they are the new fresh kid in town compared to all the other sounds you've been dealing with. If we continue going on, that's our next position right there, the D minor shape. Go into the E minor shape. I'm sorry, G minor shape for the E minor chord. So let's noodle. 2, 3. There, I didn't resolve to either the F sharp or the G when the chord switch. Not a requirement, but and there's that. again, it's not a requirement, but it's by doing it, by forcing yourself to do it, you're going to really get good at finding it. When it's just cool. And if we were to do the last position, here we go, 11, 14, 10, 12, 15. So we got 2 F sharps. Now we're in the E minor position. You get the idea. Guys, hopefully you found that helpful. Let's see if we got any questions, shall we? Hi, folks. We're here to see if you guys are completely confused. Let's see if there's any questions. We got Cheap Tricks. These are some great names. You talked about the minor 1 to 4 being the same as 6 to 2. Can you explain this and what do you mean by this? Excellent question. Okay. What's the best way to go about this? Okay. If you were just to think, let's say you were thinking in the key of major. So let's go to D major, for instance. If you have D, your 4 chord would be directly across with the A shape. Hopefully we know this by now after 8 weeks of this. And so that would be a G chord. So if you were to, so that's a major 1 to 4. You got the major 1, you got the major 4. But if you were to play a song that literally just had a minor chord, like for instance, instead of D major, it was D minor. Instead of G major, it's G minor. And those are the only 2 chords in the entire song, the entire progression. Personally, I wouldn't think to myself, well, that's this chord and that, that's the 6th one. I would kind of just think of it, we're in the key of D minor, and then it goes to a minor 4. So it's like a minor 1, minor 4 kind of a scenario. But if you were to do the math, it could be it can really only, that would be the only, we got another question in a second. I'm trying to think in relative. Let me go back to today's key actually. So today we have B minor. So let's say we're in the key of B major. Your 1 chord would be B, and your 4 chord would be E. We're basically doing that except minor. B minor, E minor. So you could, if those are the only 2 chords in the song, you could consider that minor 1, minor 4 all day. But then, we do know for a fact that this E minor is the 2 chord in the key of D. This B minor is the 6th chord in the key of D. So in theory, no pun intended, you can consider it to E minor. Today we did B minor going to E minor. So you could call it the 3 chord going to the 6th chord in the key of G. All 3 of those are synonymous. Yeah, minor 1 to 4. That's the easiest way to think about it, although it doesn't, if you're not really good with key signatures, it kind of voids information. But you can consider this either D major, 6 to 2, or 3 to 6 in the key of G, which means if you are soloing over that progression, you have the option of C sharp or even C natural. So I'll leave that up to you if you want to go that deep. But that's the general gist of it. It's it's complicated, apparently. Big Air, welcome. Dave, thanks for the course. I'm slowly getting my head around all of this, and my fingers are starting to find the notes by themselves. Does this ever get automatic? Yes. It takes a long time. One of the great opportunities for me to have this sink in, and I think we've even talked about this, Bill. It's been a minute. But I played it in a church, and they didn't care what I did, so I kind of improvised over these changes, and they were all very similar progressions to what we've been talking about in this course. And so, I just kind of had a field day with the whole cage system pentatonic thing with it. Hopefully, again, there's 6 chords. So strategically speaking, it makes sense to not get overwhelmed by doing all of this. This is just me going, this is a 10-week course. Here are all the things that you might encounter, and here's how you would do it when you get to it. But strategically speaking, for most players, it can take years for this stuff to sink in. So I would say really focus on nailing 1 to 4 in every key that you possibly can. Go through all this, see what's coming your way. The more shapes you play, that's great. But you want to get it intuitive, like you don't even have to question it, like you're hoping for. So really get 1 to 4 in as many keys as you can. And even if that takes 6 months, well then, that just means you're almost 2 to 3 years away from mastering all the chords. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not the longest time in the world, and then you won't really own this. It shouldn't take long. But anyway, hopefully, that's my goal for you and all my students, is for this to become automatic and a lot of fun. Looks like we're out of questions. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We got 2 classes left, so we'll see you next week. Appreciate it.